Hi everyone, this is Akhier, Dragonheart, and you'll notice I'm doing something slightly different from what I'm usually doing. This is Dominions 3. Very interesting strategy game, and I'm going to be playing in adminning, actually, round 11 of Bay12's Dominion 3. Round 9 and 10 are still going, but round 9's kind of winding down, it seems, and apparently there's enough people to support 3 games going at once or something. So yeah. First of all, we're going to be using conceptual balance complete, I guess. That was called something else. Oh well. 1.94. It basically balances a bunch of stuff. Go figure, right? Really good, especially for some things. I can't really say much because I haven't really explained how the game works. So, let's see. I'm going to Game Tools. Create a Pretender God. Oh yeah, that's a good thing. I'm just going to go create a random game right now and give a little bit of how it... Okay. Ready. Just ignore all this. Okay. I want to get the first little bit. Yeah. Okay, if I'm doing my job right, there should have been a cut right there and not just a long silence. In the beginning there was chaos. Out of chaos rose worlds populated with multitudes of beings. Wars were fought, kings and emperors rose and fell, and civilizations were built and crumbled as millennia passed. Gods, dark and strange, were worshipped in pagan temples. Still, there was chaos. The gods fought among themselves, bringing even greater ruin to those who would serve them. At last, there was one, a being of great power and enlightenment, who rose above his immortal peers and cast them out of heaven into oblivion. From chaos came order, and with order came peace, and the creatures of the world flourished. The age of chaos has ended. Now, the wheel has turned once again. The supreme God has suddenly disappeared. Prayers are left unanswered, and the smoke of offerings rise in vain to the heavens. No one knows why he disappeared, but it is certain that the people of the world are once again left without direction, without guiding principle, without order. Now is the time for beings of great power and ambition to try their strength. The throne of the heavens stands empty, and only the strongest can rise to supremacy over all. Only the most powerful can ascend to take the place of he who came before. This is a time of great strife and suffering. This is a time of magic unequaled. This is the Ascension Wars. So, yeah. Here's a quick look at how the maps look. This is just a really small one. You'll note. It's like I'm actually within a view of the thing there. That was an amusing map. But yeah, quit without saving. Because I'm playing the game, what's basically played by email, there's a server, Llama server, that takes care of all this stuff, and it's really cool because you can play by turn even though out the kind of strategy game it is. They did some pretty interesting stuff with it. Let's see. Create Pretender God. Basically, if you didn't get the idea from the other thing, you're representing a powerful being who is a pretender to godhood, and you're gonna try to wipe out everyone else to become the one. We're gonna be playing an early age, which just determines which nations we have and stuff like that, and the fact that magical sites and stuff will be more there'll be more of them. This is all the nations that you can get early age. There's a lot of them, and I'll go over which other ones there are in the game when I actually see them in game, but what I'm going to be is Tien. It's, based off of Eastern mythology kind of stuff, I guess. So, yeah. Celestial Empire has not yet been found, and the magic of the way permeates the realm, and reclusive mage conjures celestial beings to do their bidding. Nobles wage war upon each other for honor and glory. Few chosen warriors and mages dedicate their lives to training in the way of the five elements. The deceased are worshipped, and village priests conjure the dead to ask for guidance and aid. It is a time of legend. The race that they are is humans. You can have like giants and various other things, but just humans. Military, this tells you not really exactly what they're best at, but they have some basic ideas of what they got. And then the kind of magic they have, and the priests. They have average priests, which can be important depending on how you play the game. What I'm doing is a special thing for playing by email or anything like this, because I'm not actually playing it here. Normally you just create the pretender as you create the game, but I've already created the game as I'm adminning it. These are all the different pretender, they're called chassis because it's where you start. I clicked on it. Oh, why is it doing that? Okay, and dragon. Huh, weird. But yeah, these were changed slightly because of the balance mod. Basically makes some of them cheaper or changes their abilities or something. This is Manticore. It has a bunch of stuff, but it doesn't have magic, and it costs a bit to get more magic. And these are its weapons and the Starring Dominion stuff. I'll show the ones that are specifically for this nation that I know of. Actually, I don't see the one that I'm thinking of. Or, here it is. Celestial General. This guy was once the general of the original god, the one that took over everything, called Pantocrator or something. So, yeah. I kind of take that as meaning, like, this place was kind of somewhat important, and it's like, so that, yeah, that one I know is specifically for this, I think. Maybe it's for another or whatever, but, and then this one. This one has the magic paths of Air 1, Water 1, and Astral 1. Plus, this is an interesting ability. Fortune Teller. There are random events that happen during the game, and this one prevents bad events 66% of the time, or something like that. And he has 5 research, which is decent. Now, because he's I think he'd count as a Titan. I don't really know. But yeah, Titan. Nah, he wouldn't count as a Titan, I don't think. Well, whatever. Yeah, like, this is the Titan, specifically. Yeah, I guess he would. Yeah, Titans are basically just giant beings of power. And, he doesn't have any really good weapons. That's an important thing to know. When you're going for a Pretender chassis, there's a few things to go off of. I'll show you first this. This is a Phoenix. It's generally used as a super combatant, or as a possible one, because of its abilities and the fact that it's immortal, and it has awe and stuff. So basically the point of this one is to gear it up somewhat, send it out alone. Though this one honestly isn't something I'd use personally because it only has a few slots for items. Can have a head item and 2 miscellaneous slots, plus its gems, of course, but that's kind of neither here nor there. But it's a good starting super combatant because you can, like, generally just send this guy out and have him attack a province and he'll probably win, especially with the immortal thing and all. That's one way to do your Pretender. Another way is go for some of what it does. Like, this one has the Fortune Teller, so I'm going to go for this. I'll just click it here because I can't really show anything. Well, I guess I can show you. Like the Master Druid here, he has Earth 1 and Nature 1, but for new magic paths, so it's like I could add on water or something, it only costs 10 to add. And you have a certain number of points to build your Pretender. This chassis, the Jade Emperor, costs 50, and I have 300 left by doing that. Now I'm going to skip the Magic and Dominion to go right down to Awakening. You can have an Awake, which means you get the Pretender right off the start. That's generally what you're doing if you're a super combatant, or like me, you're using the abilities of it, especially for early gain. dormant. This one makes it so that you don't get your pretender for a year, and basically the in-game thing is like your god hasn't woken up yet because the old god kind of took over, so it's like might as well go to sleep or something like that, or put to sleep. Imprisoned is basically you were imprisoned, so it takes you like 3 years. And it's somewhat, it says give or take half a year. I don't know if it's actually random or not, but I'm going for a week. Now here's magic. There's so many magic spells in this game. And there's like so many ways you can use them. It's like there's battlefield spells, there's just regular rituals and stuff you can cast. I'm going to put 4 into air, 4 into astral, and I'm putting 1 more into water, but I don't really need it. Down here you'll notice that it says air shield 20%. If I take 1 away, you'll notice that goes away. This is the bless. That's another kind of pretender strategy, bless strategy. It's less upon the pretender, though you generally pick one that starts with high in the path you want, because let's say I take that away and I pump this all the way up here. All of a sudden there's shock resistance. So yeah, once you hit 4, you get a minor bless, and it improves slightly as you go. Like, air shield means that you're protected from arrows a little bit. 20%, 30%, you get the idea there. But yeah, some nations have sacred units, which are really good, and you have some kind of bless for them. Let's see if I can get this up high enough. No, I can't. Oh well. But yeah, fire's a popular one because it has a fire weapon, which is basically every time the thing attacks, it's an area effect instead of just hitting a specific one. But for this, I'm just choosing air, astral, and the water is just because I'll have enough points left over. Air because my nation basically doesn't have access to it, and astral because my nation doesn't have access to this high of one. And that's going to be important because I'll want to craft some items to boost my mage's power, and that's required for some of the good ones. It's basically just making sure I can do stuff later. Now, another thing is Dominion. The stronger your Dominion, the quicker it spreads. It's represented by having candles in-game. It's also important for the bless strategy, because the more Dominion you have, that's like right now I have this set to 9. That's how many sacred units I can recruit from any one fortress that I have. These are the scales. It's like there's order. If I put a point into it, you'll notice the change. Income plus 5%, random events minus 5%. Productivity, income, resources. Heat is also cold. Oh, and yeah, when you go down, they turn to something. Turmoil, sloth. Heat and cold are both technically negatives, but there's nations that prefer certain heat scales. So let's say I had a preference for heat scale 2. That would give me a bunch of extra points just for, living in a higher climate. But generally, the units that you have will do worse if, say, you are in a cold area. So there's that. Of course, the biggest thing is that I kind of like those, because it's like, let's say I did have that heat 2. I'm not going to just leave it at heat 2. I'm going to put it to heat 3. Because yes, my units will face slightly bad things, but the opponents will face even worse things when fighting in this condition. So I get more points, and though I'm at a penalty, I'm not quite at that bad of a penalty. And there are seasons in games, so it's like in the winter, you'll want the heat 3, just especially if your units are dependent on the being hot. Growth, income, supplies, growth. Yeah, growth. Not very big percentage, but that's kind of the long term. You have provinces and they have a population. And they grow over time, and random events can like change it and stuff and whatever. Here's an interesting one. Luck, random events plus 7%, good events plus 15%. Pretty nice. And then magic, it does some stuff. I'm not really sure exactly how much it does, except random events. Oh yeah, that's a good thing to point out. Like, if you have death, then random events you get will be death flavored in those areas where your scales are high enough to be there. So it's like, if you get a good event, it could be like a necromancer and his army of skeletons joins your cause, and you'll suddenly have a necromancer with some skeletons in your province. Magic, I'm not sure exactly what it does, except it's like, I guess Magic 3 could be good for something, but I kind of don't like how when you go up to 2, it doesn't increase. This is research points. You research certain paths. It's like, I'll show you in game, but yeah, various paths of magic, and you research, and with Magic 1, your researchers get an extra point for research. Of course, the one thing is, if you don't need, or you have really good researchers and you go for Drain, it's like, take Drain too. I guess there might be some reason not to, but you notice there's no actual number changing there. Now I'll put in the things that I'm actually going to do. I'm going to use Turmoil 3, Luck 3. You notice they basically countered themselves, and then Magic 1. Basically, because of what I chose, he's going to be preventing 66% of bad events. So when I went and chose that means I just sink into Turmoil and get a plus 15% random events, and up Luck, so I get plus 21% more events and more good events. But most importantly, 66% of the bad events just won't happen. And then I had a point left over. I could put into other things, but I put it into Magic 1, mostly because I'm not sure, none of these have anything really special about them when you're dominions in other players' domains. But from what I understand, Luck acts as misfortune. Yeah. So basically, by doing this, it makes, if I push my dominion strongly, which, since I have 9, which is 1 away from max, it's going to make my opponents unlucky along the border with me. And then Magic is the same kind of way, from what I understand. I'm not sure, actually. I know Luck works that way. Magic might not. I've looked it up a little bit, and I didn't really bother looking up too much, but it is what it is. So yeah, this is basically just creating the Pretender, and there's not really much else to do with this. This is an important thing. I'm not sure what to name my dude. I'm gonna cut and come back when I have a name. Okay, there we go. You might not recognize this, but I basically just opened up Dwarf Fortress and went to the dwarf language in Dragon King. It's just the translation into dwarf for Dragon King. Not very inventive, but it looks interesting. So, okay. All praise, Dragon King, God of this world, Lord of the celestial bodies, the teacher of philosophy, counselor of gods. These titles change depending on what you choose for it. Like, if you choose a heavy death magic path, you'll end up with some really interesting, like, death-based names, or like Eater of Flesh if you're like Blood Mage or something, or some kind of weird things like that. Counselor of Gods. Yeah, so this, not many titles, but don't need many titles. Need the right ones. I'm Lord of the Celestial Bodies. Which, it's like, it's the best one out of all these. Well, God of this world, I guess, was the best, but that's beside the point. Yeah, so there. That's it. Yeah, let's see, how much time have I had passed? Okay, that's a decent amount of time, I guess. So, yeah, this is just the, first video. I'll give you a peek at the, I'll give you a peek at what the game looks like. Well, more of a peek. Random, Tien. Okay. I'm not gonna bother with any of that stuff. Unforgiving me. Okay, and I'll cut out this part. Okay, here we are. This is what the map looks like. Once again, this is kind of small. I didn't really do much here. But, yeah, these are the provinces. You notice I have one little white candle here. Not really much going on with that. Here's the units. It's like I set up where I want them. Like, these are footmen. And actually, I'll go to recruit first. Yeah, these are commanders. You can hire one a turn from a fort. So if I had 2 forts, I could get 2 at a time. But as it is, I just have the starting province, so not much. These are all the just basic units. I'm not going to go too much into it right now, but the archers are good for this nation. They have composite bows, which for the early age is really nice. Really, compared to others, it's really good. You'll notice that the actual weapons have their own stats. So here it's damage 12, strength not added, range 30, precision 1, ammunition 12. They also come with a short sword, damage 5, attack 0, defense 1, length 1. Here's the unit's actual stats. Hit points, pretty self-explanatory. Protection, it indicates the thickness of the armor, including natural armor and stuff. And it's subtracted from the enemy strength when they're dealing damage. If it's big enough, the enemy just doesn't do anything to you. Morale, various things cause morale checks, and they'll flee from combat and try to run off the map. Magic resistance, once again, mostly self-explanatory. You resist magic with it. Cumbrance, this is somewhat important because there's fatigue. And yeah, if you get too much fatigue, which generally normal units won't because it's just not something that they build up fast enough, barring some special circumstances, but spellcasters use fatigue. This is its current fatigue. It's also got its age in there for some reason. But yeah, it's like no fatigue, so that's good, I guess. Not really much to talk about. Strength. This adds to melee weapons, or adds to any weapon that doesn't specifically say it's not added. Attack skill, this is how well you can hit. So yeah. Defense, this is the actual dodging, unlike the protection, so yeah. Precision is the targeting skill. Good for mages so that they can actually hit what they're casting spells at in combat. Also, really nice to have on archers. And they have average. A normal human soldier has 10, they have 10. Luckily, their bow adds 1, so they're actually at 11 in the end. But yeah, in move. You notice there's 2 move, map movement, and base action points. This is what they do on the map. On the combat screen, actually, I should say. This is moving around on the map. Through your own base. Or through your own stuff. And I should take a look at these first. You notice this actually lowers the defense because it's armor. It's bulky and you won't be able to dodge as much. But it adds protection 8 to the body. Pretty good. And one last thing I should show you. This guy, medium footman, he has one move, but he has a tower shield. Protection shield. They have a chance of hitting your shield, and if they do, it reduces damage by that much protection-wise. -2 defense, but parry. This deflects arrows. So, very good. Let's see. And here's a mage. It's basically just, you don't really see high numbers in this kind of just basic unit. And here it's sacred. So that's pretty cool. This means it's got a random chance at some things. It's got a 100% chance of getting one of these and then a 10% chance of adding on another. Really nice. Research ability. It's got 8. And then supply bonus. When you're in a thing, you'll notice we have resources and things, or in gold. This is what you use to buy. You notice most of my units are resource heavy as compared to the gold. So I wouldn't be able to actually use up all my gold. Then here, let's see, does it show up? No, where does it show up? Ah, here we go, upkeep. Your units have upkeep, so yeah. Income, supplies. There's a bunch of supply and we're only using 34 of it, so it can definitely get a lot bigger. Corpses, this goes down as turns go on, and it's used for necromancy and stuff. Unrest, it's reducing taxes and stuff. It makes it, if you get it high enough so you can't recruit. Defense, this is an interesting one. There's units that aren't actually units. You just buy this, and then it's basically just units show up when you have a battle in that area, and they instantly resupply themselves. It's the local defense, basically. Some nations have strong defense, some don't have as strong defense, so it's really up in the air. And I'm kind of getting on in time, I notice, so I'm going to do something real quick. I'm probably going to lose this because I'm just randomly going to the thing. I'll end the turn. It goes relatively quickly. My enemy declared a prophet. I didn't say anything about that because I forgot. And there was a battle. I was beaten. My commander was killed. My regular units were killed. And all that. Now, let's take a look at the combat. This is, you set where you want your dudes, and then you give them commands. Oh yeah, that would definitely kill me. The one guy had a raised skeleton, so I wasn't gonna be able to get through this. Especially since those are horsemen, and they're basically gonna just take out all my dudes pretty easily. Especially since they can catch up. That's why I lost so many. If my dudes had been able to escape, maybe I would have done better. But nope. Here we are. And yeah, this is how it can be turn-based. I'm not controlling anything here. It's like... Okay, let's get out of there. Like, with my spellcast, or my cast-specific spell, it's like I can program it a little... Or, it's not really programming. What is it? I can... Whatever. I can give it some orders to... I can make a queue for what to do, but you can only queue so much up, and then you're down to just like saying, and then cast spells, or then do this, then do that. Not really that and really exciting. If I had known there was undead there, I'd probably would have been better to do the become prophet. Actually, I'll make this dude a prophet. It spreads dominion. You'll notice I have candles here now because my dominion spread. We don't have a very good dominion strength, I don't think, because it's not one of the special things that'll have lots of dominion. Anyway, yeah, now he's my prophet. Dominion, yeah, and he also gets the bless, and then he's blessed permanently, unlike some units which you have to bless on the field. And he's instantly priest level 3, which is pretty nice. So, yeah, this is the game. It's a lot better once you actually get into it. And because of how it's going to be played by email and it's probably going to take a while, this was created, this video I made New Year's Eve, right after I put up the game. I haven't even said half of the things. I haven't gotten into researching spells. I haven't gone into gems or anything. So it's like, that was just a basic little, there's combat, isn't it interesting kind of looky-loo thing. So, yeah. This is Akhier Dragonheart, and I'm signing off.